I'm going to introduce her, and I'm going to give you guys some, the preliminaries. And then, well, no, I don't need to be on TV. I'm just going to give you background. All right, is this thing on? All right, stop that. Start this. All right. Okay. Somebody want to wave her out? Okay. Okay. Come on out, Mayor. Good morning. Okay. Got your walk shot, guys? All right. And I'm going to give them a couple notes, and I'll get out of your way. But we do need to put this on you. I meant to bring it in. I forgot. Sorry. You got a pocket no fence.
Will you record everything? You record everything? Oh, you are? Never.
All right. Oh, okay. Good morning, guys. Thanks for coming, everybody. I'm Rick Blaylock. I work for Snag Enterprises, and I'm helping in terms of helping the mayor with some of our communication strategy. Just want to give the reporters a couple background things real quick. This action yesterday is a result of actually a number of things that's been going on since 2023. I don't know if Tom knows about it, but I don't know if some of you all other have covered it. But the mayor has been constantly under attack by some of the colleagues on the council. They've been stalking her at her house, telling her she can't leave town more than 12 hours without letting them know. She's been under a lot of duress and emotional strain because of this, to the point where yesterday you all saw that she thought about resigning to protect, other people that work down at the city, I guess. And so that's why you saw her being very emotional last night at the meeting, where she made an indication that she might resign in April sometime. The other background is because of all the stuff that was happening to her from her colleagues, it wound up being a court case. She got a temporary restraining order from a Superior Court judge to stop council members from basically harassing her and bullying her, really. And what ended up happening is the sides got together. They had a settlement agreement that the court then, of course, approved, which said that the council members would no longer be obstructing her in her role as mayor and making actions that would be in the way of her doing her job as the mayor of the city. Because as the mayor, she is the chief executive. Okay, chief executive. So that's kind of the background why you saw the actions you saw yesterday. And I'm going to let the mayor come on up. She's got a statement she's going to read to you all. And then she's going to take a few questions. And again, if you need reporters, if you need any walking shots, there's plenty of street here. We can do that. And if you have any questions more about any of the legal stuff that I gave you in your packages, it explains why they can't have a meeting tomorrow under the city charter law. There was no 48-hour notice of this special meeting, so they can't really have the meeting. And according to Georgia law, the stuff I've given you, unless she resigned on paper or whatever and they accepted it, it's not effective. And so all that's in the information that you got. It was emailed if you need anything else. But I'm going to step aside and let the mayor come up, and then I got to get behind my camera, so give me a second before you start. And thank you for coming out, man. Officer, how you doing? Can you give us a mic check real quick with your voice?
Mayor Sartor, Mayor Donya Sartor, City of Jonesboro.
Can you spell your name for us first and last slowly?
Donya Sartor, Sartor. Good afternoon. Good morning. Dear citizens and colleagues, during the special call meeting earlier last evening, I gave the public an indication that I would resign on April 19, 2025. However, after speaking with numerous residents, constituents, business owners, stakeholders in and around the city of Jonesboro, I've changed my mind and will not offer a resignation as mayor. Specifically speaking, when I gave the indication, I was under distress by several colleagues who have nefarious reasons for trying to force me out of my duly elected position. I believe that although it would personally be favorable to my family and me, I cannot in my heart let down the citizens, the thousands of citizens who are dependent on me to fulfill and complete my office as mayor of the city of Jonesboro. Also, I'm a proud graduate of Emory University, Georgia State University, and Clark Atlanta University. I have a record of finishing what I start, and I'll finish this job as mayor. Accordingly, after consulting with my legal counsel and under Georgia state law and the charter of the city of Jonesboro, there is currently no vacancy in the mayor's office, and there is no resignation from the mayor. Also, it came to my attention officially via social media post that some members of the council have called a special call meeting for this evening at 6 p.m. to accept my resignation. Secondly, according to state law and our city charter, there can be no special call meetings without first providing the mayor and council at least 48 hours notice. That notice would have had to be delivered personally to me and all city council members on Wednesday, March 5th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Therefore, I will not be attending an unlawful meeting this evening. And therefore, there can be no lawful meeting of the council this evening to accept a resignation that simply does not exist and has not been tendered. Thank you.
Mayor, first of all, can we not mince words? You keep using the word I indicated I was. You resigned, and you gave an effective date. That was a resignation, wasn't it?
Right now, we're calling it an indication. I am still the existing mayor for the city of Jonesboro. Currently, there is no resignation that has been appropriately tendered to the council.
What was the pressure you were getting from some of your colleagues you mentioned?
We can call it pressure, but you can also, the battle has been very public. You all have followed me, Tom, I know you have, for this entire journey. From being asked to tell my whereabouts when I leave the city limits of Jonesboro for more than 24 hours. Not only that I'm gone for more than 24 hours, but where I am for more than 24 hours. For sitting in a council meeting with a council member sitting next to me saying, for the record, that he stalks my house, and when I'm out of town, he pays someone to stalk my house. You've most recently seen them rescind my health benefits. You've also seen the legal battle that we had by unjustly having interrogation or investigation in regard to unfounded claims that I had a gun. So when you talk about pressure that's mounting up, yeah, there was a 2-hour executive session prior to this decision, but it's been almost 18 months of constant harassing of this current position that I've been in, a constant attack of the powers that were bestowed upon me by a charter established in 1859 with the state of Georgia, that I simply just want to be able to do what I am lawfully elected to do. For the record, there has never been any allegation that has been proven to be true in regard to abuse of any power that I have been bestowed upon me by virtue of this position.
You brought up that forensic audit. That kind of muddled the waters a little bit because it almost applied some thought process that you might have been accused of some wrongdoing, even though you said you weren't.
Let's be clear on that. I'm going to unmuddy the water right now. You all should all be familiar with forensic audit. A forensic audit requires, under normal circumstances, clear allegation of inappropriate action as it relates to monetary gain or monetary events of the city. I have asked the council on the dais, for the record, on 3 different council meetings, what are the allegations? What are you implying? And they have yet to give one. When we put out an RFP, it was a broad RFP for the forensic auditors to come in. If I can be personal and honest, it's another waste of taxpayers' money that will come up that shows no wrongdoing on my part, and that's what I clearly stated, that I want to be here. And now I'll be here not only for that, the results of that forensic audit, but I'll be here to the conclusion of my term.
Ms. Mayor, you said it's important that your tenure concludes with the findings of no wrongdoing or mismanagement of funds yesterday. So were you concerned that you might find otherwise?
No, I've never been concerned. What I'm concerned about is that my counsel goes through these wild goose chases at the cost of the taxpayers' money. A forensic audit requires clear allegations, somewhat to a criminal intent. I have asked them several times in public forums, what is it that you have accused me of? Like, for example, you do a forensic audit, if they can say the mayor used her credit card inappropriately. They can't say that because I provided them all the credit card statements. If there was something, trust me, you all know this council, they're quick to come out and say what I've done wrong. If I had done anything wrong and they knew, so they'd rather pay $60,000 to $100,000 for somebody to try to find something wrong when I can assure you that there is nothing wrong.
So they have this meeting tonight. If they go on with that, what kind of action are you willing to take?
Oh, it'll be legal action. They're familiar with this. They're familiar with this process. I'm grateful for a legal counsel and a team that makes sure that I'm legally represented. We've already shown that in previous situations when they tried to do other things. So unfortunately, I hate situations like that because I am a good steward of the taxpayers' money, and this is just not a good way to spend the money. Just let me.
Council members told me that the meeting has been canceled because.
Oh, well then that's.
But
they're learning.
Why hold this press conference here? Why not hold it at City Hall where your constituents can be there to hear you?
Well, actually, at my.
It was held, I'll answer that. It was held here, Tom, to make it more amenable to the media to be able to meet because she's got to be on the airplane.
Okay.
So we came here because it's close to all the stations.
But there is a group of citizens at City Hall at this very moment in support of me remaining as mayor.
Have you retained legal counsel? I mean, is that safe to say?
I keep legal counsel.
Okay. I mean, what you said yesterday during the meeting was, I'm rendering my resignation as mayor of the city of Jonesboro. What would you say to people who are calling this a flip-flop? I mean, you said you talked to people in the city, but I mean, this seems like you said what you said, which does sound like a resignation, or at least one that you made public. Talked to people after, and then we're like, oh no, I made a mistake, and they're calling this a flip-flop. What would you say to those people?
I think the biggest mistake was council not accepting that resignation on yesterday and allowing time for me to hear from my citizens and realizing who I really truly represent, and their voice matters. They came out in 2 elections in less than a year. We had a record number of voters come out, more voters than we have ever had in any election. More votes were cast for me than had been previously cast in an entire election. Sometimes it's just a thought process. And again, I'm grateful for the charter and the law, and I'm grateful to a certain degree there's a level of ignorance among my council.
So it's safe to say you're doing this for the citizens, not you're trying to you want to do, because you were elected, you want to serve the citizens, and that's why you are withdrawing what you had said yesterday.
That's always been my concern. That's always been my concern.
Can I ask a question that no one has asked yet here, but I mean, Tom probably would ask, or I guess I would, but there's a racial thing about this too that people are that's the elephant in the room. There's been complaints in the past about the fact that there's been some racial bias and all that. Can you explain to the media, tell us what that is? Is it a real thing?
So I'm the first black mayor in this position. I served on council as the only black in a city that's 78% black. I got involved in politics because I saw how the council had previously been hiding elections. It was indicative of how they chose to run the 2 elections that I ran in. I think we're making progress as a city as a whole. I represent the city of Jonesboro. You don't hear me say I represent black Jonesboro and not white. No, I represent Jonesboro. Every time the doors of the city hall are open, anytime I host an event, it's open for everyone to come. If they choose not to, that's their choice. But there's racial appetite. Jonesboro has a history. As of recently as Jonesboro has a history of racial overtones. You know, one of the first things I did when I came in office was change the name of the street called White Line. When you go down to the county and you look at why it was called White Line, it was a street and a point of segregation. In 2025 or 24, we shouldn't have streets that remind us of when in Jonesboro we were allowed to cross a different area. So that street now is named Star Drive. So my efforts to bring down the historical aspects of racism in Jonesboro is for the benefit of everyone, just not a particular racial group.
So do you think the friction you've seen from your colleagues is due to your skin tone?
You would have to ask them. I won't. I've learned not to speak on what they may think.
Some of your colleagues say that you're a bully, you're a micromanager, and you're chasing folks away, and that's what led to you leaving. Are you a bully or a micromanager?
I don't know. It's like when you have a situation where somebody, I walk in the room and someone says, "Damn, she's passionate as hell," and the other one says she's a bully. It's all about your perception and how you perceive a black woman in this position of authority.
With all that you've dealt with, wouldn't it just be easier for you to resign if there's so many issues you've dealt with, all the problems, even though the citizens may want you there, some of the citizens may want you there, wouldn't it just be easier for you to just say, I'll see the audit through and then I'm done?
So let's be clear. If resigning was an option, that still wouldn't be easy. So there is no easy option here. There's only the benefit of doing your job and doing it well and seeing it through the end and knowing that you're not going to make everybody happy, but the ones I do, it was worth every bit of the struggle.
Do you have concerns that the last 24 hours have complicated your relationship with your council members and your constituents? Is this going to be something?
Well, it hasn't complicated. From the level of support that I've received all across the state and all across the country, it definitely hasn't complicated things. It's brought awareness to the role, particularly of black females in elected positions. This is just not nothing new to Jonesboro. Black elected officials, particularly women all across the country, face this level of opposition. Like sometimes I wonder why people think it's so strangely that it's in Georgia and it's in Jonesboro. It's disappointing, but this is a national issue that is on the forefront, and we're having national conversations. I'll be leaving Sunday to go to Congressional Cities Conference sponsored by the National League of Cities, and we'll have conversations about the concern for our safety. I'm not creating that issue. That issue is prevalent and it's been known.
Why were you so emotional yesterday?
This role makes me emotional. I fought hard for it to get here. Like I said, y'all witnessed it. It shouldn't be any surprise. And emotionality, I've had to learn, is not a sign of weakness. It's meaning that it's a release and that there's still a little bit of fight left in the dog. And so I appreciate you all coming. I know y'all, yes sir, yes ma'am.
We had a conversation a few months ago.
Hey Demaya.
About community among mayors. Have any other mayors, talked to you about this?
Oh my gosh,
Like that?
the outpouring of support, and there's always a silver lining to something. And I think if I felt supported before, I feel doubly or triply supported in this moment. Thank you, Demaya, for coming. I appreciate you.
No problem.
Does anybody have any other questions?
All right, so if the answer is no, do you need to get cutaways or anything like that you want to get? I can keep her up here if you want to get some wide shots, cutaways, photographers. That's what I was just doing. No? Okay. Does anybody want a walk shot with her? Yes or no?
We're good.
Good? Sure. And I started recording.
Thank you.
Thank you.